This is day 21. She is risen. For many people, it's Easter Sunday. For me, it's the resurrection. My own. I had a really interesting dream before I woke up to do meditation this morning. I had a dream that I was somewhere, and there was this guy with gray hair and a beard, and he was sitting high up, like unusually high up. And sitting next to him was Oprah Winfrey. And I was down below. And he was talking to her and calling her the master teacher and calling her master. And asking her, all these questions like, well, how do I and how do we? And I was down below and I was getting more and more upset. I was getting actually angry. And whoever I was with, I was saying to them, oh, I can't believe he keeps, talking to her as if she knows more than we do about ourselves. And why does he keep talking about the master teacher? He's acting as if, we don't have our own answers. Yeah, I know. So the next scene is I'm walking with whomever I'm with, and they're walking behind me, and they start to pass me, and I say, good morning. Yes, with a tinge of sarcasm, right? Because I'm still angry. And they walk right past me, and then they go around me, and I say, good morning. And they still don't answer. And I say, so much for being enlightened. And finally, the guy stops and he turns around and, maybe says something like, what's your problem? Or, what do you need to say? And I go off on him and say, what are you doing? You're giving her more power than is her own. You're making everybody believe that they don't have their answers. You're making everybody believe that they have to go outside of themselves to know what their truth is. And then I woke up. And then I went into meditation. And then I went to my spiritual center. And I was thinking about that the whole time. I was like, wow, okay, got it. And I go to my spiritual center where I get to go and be of service to others. And today I was inspired to go into the little kids area to see if they needed some help. And there was a lot of little kids there, so they asked me to stay on. And I go in and I see this little boy who's sitting down in a little chair and he's crying. He's having a tough time. He's like, going... very much like the way I've been crying for the last several weeks. So I just was immediately drawn to him, and I sat down next to him, and I, said, oh my gosh, honey, how are you? And he's just crying, right? He's just having a rough time. And so I get the tissues and do all that, and then at some point I put my hand on his back and do a little Reiki love. And then he gets a little closer to me, and I get a little closer to him. And at some point I just put him in my lap. And soon after I do that, I feel wetness coming down my legs. So I realize what's happening, and I scoop him up, and I take him into the restroom, and I assist him in, getting on the toilet bowl, and he's propping himself up. And as soon as he gets there and is able to do it properly, he has this big smile on his face and starts giggling. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. So I get inspired to take his clothes and come back to the house because I live close by and, dry them because I didn't want him to be embarrassed. And I get back just in time before they end up walking out and joining the adults. So he and I go out hand in hand, and I eventually sit down, and he just leans completely into him, and into me, and after everybody goes back inside, all the kids go back inside, he just wants to stay there. So we just stay there. And it was such a profound experience, because what that little boy taught me is that we all have that little child within us. And I certainly have been face to face, heart to heart with my little girl these past several weeks now. And that little boy just needed to be loved. He needed to be comforted. He needed to be told everything was okay, that he was safe, which is what I told him, that he was safe and loved. And it was such a profound reminder that is exactly what I must continue to do to myself. And I would imagine what perhaps you might begin to do for yourself as well. It would not have been appropriate for me to say, get over it, or stop crying, or, or any of those harsh things that I have been doing to myself. And just to be held, and just to have somebody there to care. So this is day 21. And now today, I'm not like, oh my God, I've got 79 days left. This is crazy. Now I'm like, wow, what the hell am I going to be like on day 100? What am I going to be like tomorrow, next week, next month? This is a big deal, and I'm really glad I'm doing it. This is day 21.